Hi, how are you? So I started this series, and I mean, I didn't want it to be a series. I just wanted to, I just wanted to do this. I just wanted to put this out there because I believe that a lot of people genuinely need this. Okay, and this is one of the ways that we all, can correct the anomalies in our society. If people become wiser, generally, the society becomes better. That's just the truth. All right. A society will rise only to the level of righteousness, in quotes, that's wisdom, the application of values, the application of proper values to get proper results. Okay, that's why they say righteousness exalts a nation. So it is a collective responsibility. And so when I started yesterday, I just simply wanted to painstakingly, get this knowledge, this understanding, this information across to you. All right, because this will help everybody. This will help everybody. It will help the police institution. It will help young people. It will also help older people. It will help. I mean, mothers want their children to go home and come back safely. But there are certain time in the life of the child, in quotes, when he or she is stupid. So as a parent, you don't want your child to die because he's still stupid, because he's still naive, because he still doesn't know how things work, or because he's still just stubborn, because he's still exhibiting youthful exuberance. People don't want their children to die. People don't want them to. Naturally, you won't want your child to pay with his life for being stupid. You hope that he gets to learn and adjust. All right. So this I have sensed that it's sensed in my spirit that it's necessary, it's important. That's why I've had to do this. I mean, I've hoped, I've hoped that other people would do it so that I don't have to do it. I mean, because I don't necessarily need any I don't need any accolades or any recognition towards this. I just want people to be helped. I want the person who is stupid to stop being stupid. I want somebody who is not realistic to start being realistic, to understand where you are. And so we had. I mean, I spoke about a lot of things, in the part one, and I think I should quickly do a recap. Okay, I think I should quickly do a recap so that we can really come to speed, and then I can explain the things that I want to explain to you today. And I hope that I really, I will try to make sure that I wrap this up today and then it's done. Okay. At the end of this video, this is a video that you must watch several times. Okay, because some of the lessons will not stick with you at one go, okay, because this is something that you need to imbibe. This is something that you need to understand. And so, reading for the first time, of course, you went to school, you know that sometimes you know how many times you need to read a particular thing before the juice, the understanding, and the ability of its application comes to you. All right, so you have to know that, okay, and please keep that in mind. It is very, very important. Okay, all right. So what I want to do is to quickly make a recap. All right, so as I make the recap, it will help you. So let's just do this on time. All right, let's do this on time. Okay. I started yesterday by saying that this video is not for you if you are a criminal, if you're criminal minded. I mean, I hope the law catches up with you, because I mean you're doing more harm than you even know. You're doing more harm than you even know. So this is not for you. It's not for you if you're a criminal, really. Okay. And internet fraudsters, you are, offline, whatever, I mean, this is not for you at all. This is not in any way supposed to support you, right? This is just the same way, everybody must have, every criminal in court, everybody will have their day in court. So it's not because the law wants to excuse you. It's just that the law wants to make sure that the righteous, the proper people are not punished based on suspicion. All right, so this video is supposed to help every other person who may, because of their stupidity or because of their naivety or because of their lack of knowledge or understanding or because of their fear, be at the receiving end of a system that is still growing, of a system that has not reached its best stage. All right, so that's what this video is all about. And of course, I tell you how to deal with the Nigerian police, practical ways for you to be free from police harassment. And one of the things that I started to say immediately is to explain to you that this will not work for you if you are afraid. This does not work for people who are not afraid. I mentioned categorically about how the concept of fear and experiment, how this doesn't just work if you are fear, because if you were to be in a scenario where you have to deal with the product of system, I mean the police, you want to exhibit wisdom. One of the ways you have to be able to do that is to be able to collect your thoughts and collect your speech, all right? Because there are certain things that you need to achieve. So fear incapacitates you. Fear makes it difficult, if not impossible, for you to do that. So this will not work for you if you have not found a way to be courageous, all right? And I explained that you have to understand the real working of your environment, and you have to understand what the system is, the products of the system. I explained what it means for you, the interaction between you as a product of that system and the police person as a product of that system. I also explained to you that sometimes the policeman does not know that he is also the product of the system. He thinks that he's better than you, and he thinks that he has a certain power that he can lord over you and stuff like that. That's okay. It is not your job to tell him otherwise, okay? It is your job to behave circumspectly with his own reality, all right? Why should you do that? Because he's the one carrying the gun, okay? Because he's the one carrying the gun. All right, so wisdom is profitable to direct. That's the thing, and you must never forget. So I explained that, okay? I also, started explaining how all of this comes from the point where there's contact, all right? So how the game, the journey, everything starts with the contact. Basically, at what interaction, and then before I got here, I explained that there's what is written, and then there's what is not written, and then that life as you know it in Nigeria or Africa, or wherever we are, is that we both the written and the unwritten laws apply. You are under the written and the unwritten laws. So you must bear that in mind. People gallivant all over the place flexing the written law. and I made it abundantly clear to say that is just plainly being stupid. If you disregard what is unwritten because you think you know what is written, it's plainly that's it. I mean, if you go to a police office, it's written that bail is free. All right, but however, when you get to the police station, you have to pay for bail. And the payment necessarily doesn't even have to be money in quote. Most times it will be money. It will not be called bail, but the person who wants to escape the cuffs of the momentary police holding will not begin to argue based on what is written. Even if you want to argue based on what is written, it is going to be that you will be presenting the acknowledgement of what is not written. I explained that abundantly yesterday. All right. And then I went on to explain to you that the first thing that the police person does to you is to profile you. Profiling you means he deciding who you are, or he, coming up with who he thinks you are. So he decides who he thinks you are, and you think you are somebody, he thinks you're somebody. What he thinks you are carries preeminence over what you think you are. Why? Because it's carrying the gun. Okay, because it's carrying the gun. And I told you yesterday that whether you like it or not, it's not a function of you being right and him being wrong. It's a function of you wanting to leave or escape that situation or scat. And I explained that it takes courage. I also explained that you don't want to be put in a place where your life is cut short. It does not matter whether the culprit or the criminal in that sense, because if you say something like you're a criminal, whether you're a police person or not, and they know that, of course, and things like that. It does not matter whether that person is brought to justice or not. You're dead, and you do not want to be dead. So So while people may think that this video is solely against the police, no, this video is not against police. This video is for you. Do you understand the difference? All right, okay. Because I mean, I have friends in the police force. Yeah, if I for the want of a better word, you know, that kind of a thing, you know. But my point is, what I have come to realize, what I have come to see, is that it's a systemic thing, you know. And I said that because you have some of them that are good. I remember way back in about several years ago, there used to be this DPO in some police station who they used to call Mama DPO. At that point in time, I mean, I hope she's still like that. I mean, even if she's fired or something like that, everybody knew her for her integrity. I mean, it was known. I mean, if you read Paul Coelho's The Alchemist, you know, there's a saying there. They will say it is known. It is known. Yeah. So it was known that woman, you know, had integrity. So. And I mean, I can count my other encounters and things like that. The compassion, the empathy, you know, sometimes you could see that they also understand that you understand that they wish that the system could better, and they also see sometimes that they also have come to where they realize that maybe the system can be better. All right, so you know, so I just had to say that. So I explained yesterday that the first thing they do is profile you, you know, and I explained what the common profiles were. You can see, you know, and I went on to explain the profiles that I recommended, you know, and you know, of all the profiles, there are two places that I recommend that you should be. You know, there's one that I prefer that you should be, but there are just two that I recommend because of, you know, if you want to achieve the result of living whatever situation at the contact, you know, unscathed. Unscathed means that you're able to live with your life, live with your dignity, live with your integrity, live with your hope, live with your life intact as you were. All right. So yeah, so that about how I explained that. And one of the things that the two profiles that I recommended, one of the things, the thing that they have in common is that there's an element of courage there, not being afraid or not minding to, you know, to engage. People who want to achieve results have to engage, and that's how it's been. I guess that's how it's always going to be. Okay, so I explained that, and then I mentioned about gender equivalent of all the other profiles, you know, and the less common profiles, you know, like like do you look like the spouse or girlfriend of a criminal, or, you know, in quote. I explained the concept of innocent until proven guilty as it is what is written, and also the concept of guilty or to prove innocent as what is unwritten. And I said that both laws play simultaneously. Wisdom is how to find the balance, or how to stay one leg on both of those laws, the written one and the unwritten one, and then get the result that you desire. And I went on to say that this is the battle. This, you know, but I also said I don't want to call it the battle. I simply want to call it a journey. The journey is you moving from here, who you think you are, forget about who you think you are. I mean, especially if you have no experience with how they come up with how they come up with who they think you are. So if you don't have no experience about how they come up with who they think you are, then just jettison this. Forget about this. Like you're probably wrong. So you want to find out who he thinks you are, and then you want to go from who he thinks you are, and then go to where you should be, who you should be, so that you can leave or escape or come out of that situation unscathed. Do you understand? So that's why I call it the journey. All right. And I said that the journey would start with the conversation. The battle starts once you open your mouth. Now, it means that you have to properly adjudge the situation and say the right things. All right. So I have some pretty much other things that I want to talk about today, because I mean we have gotten to where we got to yesterday. I mean, so we're done recapping. So let's get on with it today. So here's the deal. All right, here's the deal. Now, sometimes your profiling is not easy. All right. So you're driving a particular car, you're already a particular way, and then you are now at the checkpoint. All right. In a split of a second, the police person has, please pay attention, I said practical ways, okay? So the policeman has about few seconds, sometimes less than 3 seconds, to decide if he should pull you over to say park there, or if he should wave you and say go. Now, that happens for a lot of people a lot of times. It happens for different people at a lot of time. So this happens to different people for different reasons at different times, all right? And what I'm doing here, I told you I was going to teach you practical ways to avoid, harassment, okay? And one of there's a loophole, there's a window that you can exploit, and when you're faced with a police person, all right? And and here is it, okay? So this is a game of time, and you must pay attention so you can understand it. So this, you're driving a vehicle, dressed in a particular way, and you look a particular type of person. Now, what you look versus the car that you drive versus how you dress may be contradictory. So, so the car is pointing to a particular thing. Your age, how old you look, point to a particular other profile, and then how you address points to a particular other profile. So the police is thinking, should I pull this guy over so that I can, find out if, he could, if there are things that he wants to hide from the law, so that now he's forced to now pay, for that, that kind of thing. All right, so that's the principle on which extortion works. Okay, extortion is you are either afraid for your life, afraid of what might happen to you, afraid of what the law may find out if you are arrested or prosecuted, or maybe there'll be time you're running late and things like that. So the idea is that you just pay because you want to get away and things like that. So that's how it works. But however, before that happens, there's a little process where the police decides whether to park you, off the road or to say go on your way. Now, there are 3 seconds there. Now, this is it, okay? In those 3 seconds, the longer you wait, the higher the chance that you will say park. All right? Now, what you want to do is that you want to help the police decide. Let me explain what it means. So let's assume that, look at this concept and understand it, okay? So let's assume that you're supposed to go out for 9 a.m. in the morning, and so it's 8 a.m. and you're trying to decide, should I go out or not go out? Should I go out or not go out? And then it's 8:15. You've not had your bath. And then you're still thinking, should I go out or not go out? And then it's 8:30. You've not had your bath, you're not dressed up, you're still on the bed. And then you're thinking, should I go out or not go out? And it's 8:45. Guess what happens? You're not going out. Why? Because if you are to be somewhere for 9:15 and it's already 9 and you have not started dressing up, it means that by the time you finish dressing up, it's 9:30. You can't get to that place anymore at 9:15. So what has happened to you? The decision of not going, you reached it because you could not decide. Yes. So it is a type of this scenario that happens when you are just on the road and the police is looking at you. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Split 3 seconds. Sometimes it's no more than 2 seconds. You need to decide. This is what you must do if you ever find out that that's the situation. Because there's don't mistake situation where the police want to engage you in friendly chats. Okay, that also happens. Friendly chat always happens when the police realizes that this person does not look afraid, because you're not fidgeting, and this person also looks nice. So I hope you're picking this because I'm merging multiple concepts together. The whole idea is that in real life, concepts don't stand alone and say, look me, I am this concept. Usually in real life, all the concepts mix. Okay, so they can teach you about wind direction and teach you about sun, and then teach you about rain. So on a particular day, wind is blowing, it's raining, there's sun. So you can't say, it's a rain, they know it's a windy day. No, that's how life is. That's how life is. Okay, so that's why as I am also explaining, I'm kind of merging and mixing all the concepts. So one of the reasons a police wants to be friendly with you is because you are not fidgeting, is because you have a tone of respect and a tone of command. Okay, so if he's like, okay, this person looks like there's nothing to rattle with this person, all right? But sometimes, maybe because you're also having a bad day, or maybe because something going on, maybe because you're just afraid, maybe because there are a lot of them on the road, maybe you're just afraid. For whatever reason, if you're there, 3 seconds is counting, and he's trying to decide whether I should pull you off the road or should say go on your way. What you must do is say, good evening, officer, or good morning, officer. How do you do? Okay, thank you very much. And start to move. Now, this is what happens 8.5 times out of 10. he will allow you go. Because remember the analogy of not wanting to go out and be thinking about it and then you end up not going out. Because since you are already started moving, you have helped him decide that you should kukuma be going. Because at the goal, he kukuma could not decide whether to pull you over or not. Since he could not decide and you have started to move like you are going, he just says, okay, just go. Because there are inexhaustible number of other cars that are coming. So if he was not decided on you and you start to move, I do it several times because I just understand how these things work, you know. I used to do it. I mean, I've not as big in a while because I mean my profiling now is better than when I was younger and I could drive a Lexus saloon car and look at. Although I mean I was never particularly harassed, you know. I mean I had contact, I mean, it happened where I could have been harassed, but the overall outcome was that I was not harassed. Okay, so I have lived the reality. So you can tell that I know what I'm talking about. So so if you ever find yourself in that situation, what you want to do is that you want to keep moving slowly, like you have a smile on your face with the assumption that, like in your mind, you are telling the police in your mind that. You assume that, oh, you have seen me that I'm a good person and you didn't want to stop me. So you say hello, so you start to go. Now sometimes you can say, wait, you wait. Sometimes they say, wait. I say, wait, where are you going? And then I thought you said you go. And then I really feel like, oh, look at me, I'm a very upright human being. Why would I go if you didn't ask me to go? And then he's just like, oh, okay. Because he knows that he was hesitant. He would naturally assume that you interpreted his hesitation as brief to go. So when you even say, I thought you said you should go, he's not even going to say, no, I didn't say go. He will just say, sharp park, if you wanted you to park. And then when he says park, you already know that at that time it's pretty much an ego thing for him. It is not much about you being wrong or about him wanting to rat you at that point in time. So if you now insist that you park, it's just an ego. What you need to do at that time is to massage. You go, officer, how about you? Oh, okay, so you wanted me to park. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, okay. What would you like to see? Remember remember this video? I said that this video is not for, put your vehicle particulars in order to get that. So there's no point. If you don't pay your vehicle licensing, you are denying government for having money and you are the ones who complain about certain things not fixed. So do your part, all right? So and try as much as possible to make sure that your vehicle particulars are in order. So this is not about if your vehicle particulars are in order. Although if for some reason your vehicle particulars are not in order, I also want to help you. All right, I might mention that. And this is just for you. This is just if you're not doing it intentionally. Okay, so at that point, all you just have to do is to massage the ego. Basically, explain that part one, how you have to respect the office, visibly respect the office. Even if you're rich, even if you're super big, respect the office. It's very, very important. Okay, so I thought I should mention that. Okay, I should mention that. All right, and there are things that I wanted you to know. Okay, which is important. One of the things that I need you to know, that's important, is that in your engagement, you must concede grounds to them. Now, it is not because I explained to you that this is not a right or wrong affair. This is not a right or wrong affair because on the road at that point in time, nobody has gone to court. Nobody has been pronounced by the court as guilty. Per se, it's just a function of nobody has also been pronounced innocent. So it's not a right or wrong thing. It's a function of how things are handled and how things are addressed. In your speech, you want to communicate strength. You also want to communicate respect. It takes practice. But you can get it. You should get it. You must get it. It's okay. It's good for you to get it. All right. And I explained categorically that. Okay. Let me say this. Okay. You have to. You want to look confident. Okay, but not in a way that makes you look stupid and arrogant. Because if you look stupid and arrogant, it's like you're announcing to the whole world that you're proud, but also don't know anything, right? Because if you know anything, there's certain humility that comes with understanding of how things work. Okay, yeah, all right. So you must know that for sure. I mean, there's been gist of times when top politicians, people who have money, have been harassed, by men of the forces. Okay, so I mean, and then so you can't put yourself in that position where you don't get things going your way. All right, so I wanted to. There's something on my mind that I wanted to share, as regards this as well. But I'm thinking if I should just put it to other places. Put it to other places. All right. So yes. So I have these things in mind to explain to you. And you see, being profiled or escaping being profiled wrongly is an art that you must learn, and you must start first of all from how you address yourself, how you dress. It's important. I mean, to discountenance that there's a consequence to how you look is you being stupid. All right. I'm not saying you don't eventually dress how you want to dress, but at least you should be able to understand the impact of how you dress on how you are dressed. All right. So I mean, you want to wear rag jeans but be spoken to like somebody who's wearing agbada and wearing a crown, even if you're a king or not a king. I mean, it just doesn't work like that. Okay, so I mean, I've been shouting out this video that I do not encourage anybody being stupid. Okay, people must understand what cause and effect means, in the working of your environment. All right, so that being said, so now one other thing that I think I really want you to know is that the police themselves are afraid of certain things. Okay, there are things that they are afraid of. All right, and if you do not know that they are afraid of it, then you will not be able to use it. Okay. One of the things that they are afraid of is paperwork and court case. It is not that. It is okay. First of all, it is that it takes a lot, for them to prove you wrong. Okay. And because you have read stories where people know that sometimes you don't want to be framed. That's why if a policeman ever says, "Come and open your trunk, let's see what's in your boot," you should get down and be with the person so that nobody plants anything in your boot, okay, in the trunk of your car, right, and things like that, and so on and so forth. And it helps if you are not just alone in the car, so that somebody is watching for the inside of the car for you. So therefore, don't carry stupid people as passengers. All right, yeah, just saying. Just saying. Okay, so so now, point is, it takes a lot for the police force to prove that you are a criminal, especially if you're not a criminal, and all they just need you to do, is to drop a particular, sum of money. So if a police, for example, was expecting to rattle you for 1,000 naira, that's pretty much like $8 or thereabout. Okay. No, that's about $15. Oh no, that's $1 plus. Oh, can you imagine? Oh God. Okay. so imagine that a police person was trying to rattle you for that kind of amount of money, and then something happens, and they decide you're in so much trouble, and they decide to arrest you. He has to prove that you committed a crime. So there's going to be a paperwork, involved, and then there's a court case, and there's the investigation, and naturally it may just be the IPO, that's the investment police officer on the case. All right, and sometimes maybe it's not even the IPO, and then the IPO doesn't like the merit of the case. They're like, and then sometimes they have internal discussions where they are like, how can you stupid? They're bringing this case, it's just going to take our time. You're off the road, you can't make money, and things. So they also avoid it. So, but the idea is that you do not know that they avoid it, so you don't use it mentally. This is not something that you use verbally. This is not something that you say, I know you two don't want case. No, this is a mental position in your mind that gives you certain confidence, to combat the fear that you already should be feeling. All right, because they also don't want it. They also don't want to have to, because there's no particular benefit to it. they don't increase their salary for it, and they still have to even expend their own personal funds commuting between offices and court and things like that. They still have to get to the Ministry of Justice because it is still, you still have to be prosecuted by a prosecutor. It is still government who has to prosecute you. If the police finds you wanting in something, then it is a crime in court against the state. So the state still has to fund the lawyer who will prosecute you. That's called them prosecutors. Those are lawyers employed by the government, and things like that. So a prosecutor still has to deal with the merit of the case, which means the prosecutor has to tell the police officer, so you're asking this person on what basis and things like that. So they don't want that. You should know that. You should know they don't want that. Okay. You should also know that there's also something called scapegoating. So if a police officer was on the road for 7 hours, for example, he's tired, he's angry, and maybe things are not going about the way it's going, he may be forced to scapegoat you. So it doesn't matter that you have done so much or so little, it's just hard enough, and it might just be the last straw that brings the camel back. You don't want to be that, okay? Which means that you want to be emotional intelligence. You want to be able to understand what is going on. If you are in a state where crime rate is high, then the police are on high alert and they are stressed because the governor is bringing down on the IGP is bringing down on the commissioner is bringing down on his boys, the boys are bringing down on their own boys, and then now the person that you are seeing on the road is probably at one of the lowest point in the ladder. You have to be smart to understand what is happening there. All right, so that's not the time when you want to be stupid. If you ever should be stupid. Okay, so I'm sorry if I've been sounding harsh in the video, but I just feel that at the stake of your life, I mean, what else can I compare the value of your life to? Nothing else. So so that's why this is frank. Okay, that's why I'm being frank with you. Okay, so and one of the other things, scapegoating works both ways. So you also don't want to be scapegoated. And the other thing is that they also can be scapegoated. So because of the dynamics of people relations, of workplace politics, there are also stupid people among themselves. There are people who are indisciplined. There are people who are unqualified. There are people who shouldn't have been in the place and are favored. There are dynamics. So sometimes a policeman may also be scapegoated. So something happens and they say that this person does it. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens. All right. So they also don't want to be scapegoated. Sometimes I've had situation. It doesn't happen to me all the time, but it's happened to me when I've had to tell the police person and say, the thing is that your guy will not defend you. I told him that, and then of course he's like, no. But I know that he struck the cut I wanted to strike. And then because he knew, man, he may just not defend him. Because you don't want the DPO to stand in front of the commissioner with his hand in the back and explaining how one of his officers was stupid. No, he doesn't want to do that. So he's going to scapegoat you so you should know that. Okay? And then another thing is that they don't want to be the Adinga of bad market. They don't want to be the one who now gives their unit a case that now drags for so on that they don't want to be a case that now drags all the top people, top echelon people of society into the matter. They don't want to do that. I remember a time when I had to what was it? But anyways, I had to have a meeting with the DPO in the police station. This was just somebody was afraid of what I would do concerning a particular issue. So the person went to police and said, this person may do this. I wasn't even kind of pretty much a very civil matter. And then I was chilling at the lounge, and then these 2 or 3 plain clothes officers come in and say, are you Dr. Hayo? I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to I'll go like to see. Who is your guys? Okay, our guys DPO. Anyways, I'm there. But before I got there, I called and made a few calls, and then when I was there, they came to give the DPO, who was with me, that a particular commissioner wanted to speak with him, and then when he spoke, it was about me. I was like, and he was like, chill now. It wasn't even up to that, that kind of thing. So, that happens. That happens. I remember that I was the time I was traveling, and I was stopped on the road, and let me quickly say this. Because of this kind of thing that we have found ourselves, the system, the police force thrives on the gray areas. Okay, on gray areas that you don't know about, which they can say the law says, and then they can hold you to that. And then because you have a lot of things working against you, first of all, you don't want to be delayed because you're time conscious, you have the place you have to be, and like that. Sometimes it's just yield, which means that you have to partner with your money and things like that. So gray areas, and then because of what is at stake for you, starting with your life and then your dignity and things like that. So, anyways, so I was on this road, and I was stopped. I don't remember what unit of the police that it was, but I remember that. So I thought about this. So like, what am I going to do? Nothing worked at the time. I wondered why. I think they had just gotten there. It was early, so they still have plenty of energy, and then they just had to make money and things like that, or maybe they didn't like my confidence, because every other person that was on was really visibly afraid, and I was the only one who wasn't really afraid, as it were, things like that, because I was complying, part there. So so it wasn't like there was no struggle, but I just wasn't particularly perturbed, because I wanted to learn from the experience, because I had never experienced what was happening. So my it was more of a curiosity thing for me, okay, at that point in time, and maybe the police officer was attending to me didn't like that, I guessed, but. So this is what happened. So I called somebody who was in charge of the big task force and the police, and I'll get to this part. Okay. But the point here is, at some point, they also don't want to be the one to bring back and say that the reason your guy is now at ill favor with somebody that is bigger than him in the force, okay, that kind of thing. So that's bad market. They also don't want that, okay. So you have to know that exists, okay. Yeah. Wow. So many things. Okay. So yeah. So let's talk about the things that you want to avoid. All right. You want to avoid physical abuse, which means that you want to obey all things being equal. It is very rare for a police officer to harass you physically at go. If you respect them, they are not likely to harass you physically. People disrespect them for fashion. Okay, that is a stupid thing to do. Yeah, it's not in vogue. It's not in vogue. It was. You should talk like civilized people, right? So you should be civilized in your conversation. So, and then you should comply. You have to respect his office. I explained that in part 1. Okay, so you want to avoid being physically abused. You want to avoid being slapped, things like that, And it starts with how you dress yourself. It starts with how you address yourself. It starts to the value that you put on yourself. You just need to know that. And I'm not saying don't wear t-shirt, but I'm saying if you're wearing t-shirts, make sure that it's plain or it's branded properly, not Gucci, not Gucci snake t-shirts. I'm not saying don't wear Gucci. I'm just saying have sense. Okay, as you wear. All right, so things like that. So you want to avoid that, because the reason you want to avoid physical abuse is that once you allow a police person physically abuse you, you have made him to commit to making sure that he proves that you are a criminal or a bad person. You don't want that, because now if he slaps you, somebody has to be wrong, and of course he doesn't want to be wrong. So you don't want to put him in a place where he has to prove that you are wrong. I hope you understand that, okay? All right. You also want to avoid being framed up or being set up. I slightly mentioned that, so you don't want anybody dropping anything to you. It is not because, let me tell you, it's not even just because of the police. Sometimes people who you have done business with, or people you are having civil issues with, can write petition against you in a way that is criminalized, okay? Petition can be criminalized. If you have this land for somebody, the person can write petition to say you are using talks, and that you are using cutlass, and they are smoking them on the site, and then they're telling you, and then it could result in physical harm to the person. And right now, this person is the owner of the land, and you are just somebody who wants to land grab, and then you are even using violent force, blah 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 blah. That's sounding criminal. That sounds like you're about to commit murder. Alright, whereas it's just a civil thing, like you have a dispute on who owns a particular land, that kind of thing. So sometimes there might be already information that has gone ahead of you. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful. One of the things that I also want you to know, if I just talk about, let me just talk about other things I think you should know. God, remember I told you in part 1 that this is a book. I'm trying my best to compress it into. I want to compile it to one video, Now I'm having to compress it into 2 videos, and there's no way I'm going to be able to give everything. But here is it, all right? Here's one thing that you should know, all right? So you should understand that a policeman is intelligent, all right? You should know that. Underestimate their intelligence at your own peril. They are masters at the game of coercion, the game of setup, the game of what do you call that now? There's a particular word for it, you know. Anyway, they're a master at the art of getting you to lose whatever ground you have. Right? So people make a mistake. So even if you're right, people get to a point where they simply volunteer what should have been their own joker card. For example, you have an issue with somebody, and the person is saying you said something, but when you're saying you didn't give him a particular amount of money, but you have a video recording of that incident. That's not an information that you give out on the first counter. No, you should wait. You should wait. People will say, look, I want a video of that day, I want a video of that day. And they start to prepare against that video that you say you have. And at the end of the day, when you present the video, then it has no effect. But what you should do is to allow them to think that you have no proof that meeting helped. I say, I was there, and why are you lying? I was there. I say, no, you're not there. And then you wait until they beat all their case on that, and then you say, oh, I think I have a video of that day, and then bring the video. Yeah, that kind of thing. So you must understand the long game and how to wait. You know, there's no way to explain that means I have to explain strategy and psychology, and I mean, of course, I can't do all of that in video. That's why you should be subscribed to this channel. You should be following this channel, and you should comment. You should be active on this channel so that as I teach these things about human psychology, you can apply them across every area of your life. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, so back to explaining some of the things that I think you should avoid. I think you should avoid empty threats. You should don't threaten anybody. Especially threats that you have no resources or will to carry out. I'm going to make sure you lose your job. Calm down. Chill. I mean, governors have sacked people, and governors have been taken to court and they've been reinstated. I mean, those people have been reinstated. So chill. So, I mean, people who have power to take people's jobs may usually not be found in the situation that you found yourself. So if you're a person who has the power to actually remove a police officer from his federal government job, then it's highly unlikely that you now be caught in that situation. So please give yourself sense. All right, don't make threats that you have no resources or will. Because you have an uncle who is highly placed and can do something, who tells you that your uncle doesn't have a problem of his own? Who tells you that the favor that your uncle has been gathering, that is on you, that you want to squander it because you simply could not apply a type of wisdom? Okay, all right. Now, if you are feeling that this video is like I'm just talking sense into you, I'm just talking sense into you, I'm very, very sorry. It is just that, like I explained in part 1, the burden of wisdom lies on the oppressee, the oppressed. The oppressed must be wiser, smarter, more cunning than the oppressor. So that is why I am hammering on you and I'm not hammering on the police. Leave the police, they're fine. They're already set in their way. We're trusting God for improvement, and things like that. Okay? So yes. Alright, so please note that. Good. Now let me talk about the things you want to have, okay? Things you want to have. And before I talk about the things you want to have, the things that you should have, let me quickly say this. There are times that you may be wrong. So a police pulls you over and your vital particulars are not complete. You probably even don't have a driver's license and things like that. Or you're driving a car that is tinted but has no tinted permits. As at the time of this video, there's been lifting on the request for tinted permits and things like that. But you never can tell what happens. Speaking for Nigeria, okay. So there have been times when I was younger. I was in primary level several years ago, and I was driving this this coupe, you know, this 405, no, 406 wagon Peugeot, you know, and I didn't have bike particulars. And I know we're all over the place. I mean, I was all over the place. I mean, we did all kind of things. I mean, I hung my stethoscope so that they think I'm a doctor, so that, you know, they're usually a bit cautious with professions that have good branding. So you're a doctor, go and things like that, you know. So things like that. Or maybe seem like a doctor, definitely you have your right particulars. Or you're a doctor, even if they stop you, they want to be your friend because you can help them, you know, and things like that, and so on and so forth. And things like that. I can't imagine how many contacts of police I've gotten because of that. Okay, so there are situations when you're actually wrong. Okay, yes, and one of the ways that you get out, I'm not going to teach you to bribe. I mean, I've not seen me anyone easy say give them money, okay? Because that's you, that's on you. Whatever you do, but I am going to tell you about cases where I have come out without having to bribe or pay, you know, that kind of thing. And usually, what I do or what I did was that I used I combined two strategies. The strategy of empathy, pity, you know, sympathy, and then the strategy of agreeing that I was wrong. So I don't remember the details of these scenarios, but I know, you know, so I'm going to compound the lessons from the scenarios and bring it into one scenario and then use it to explain. So this policeman pulls me over and say park there and checks the SUV that I was driving at the time. All the particulars are in order except the tinted permit. So I don't have the tinted permit. He said this thing is tinted. Now it was not about the permit for him. It was about the fact that he has seen something with which to hold me. Then I therefore will not have to beg my way. So I told him, I said, look, you are right. This car doesn't have tinted permit. So you cannot even impound the car. You can even arrest me and go to the police station. But the truth of the matter is that it may take me 5 months before I'm even able to get out of this case. Why? Because I don't have money. Why don't I have money? Because I'm a young man who does not want to do illegal things, and the people who have money now, the people who are doing internet fraudsters, we who are trying to build small business. And at that time I was training core members, you know, travel down, train core members, project management, and this business analysis and things like that. This is what I do. I have my ID card. This is what I do. Imagine, so I tell him, look, I've left the house since 5 a.m. because I have to be at this particular place. I've gone to 4 places, you know, and this is and things like that. And he looks at me and I say, look, sometimes, so yes, I should have the permit, but I don't have it now. I will have. In fact, I don't have to get it. Maybe even help me so I can get it. So I don't have, because I don't like to offend police officers. What have I done? I have accepted I was wrong. So so there's no longer any fight. There's no dispute. You know, some people say, no, maybe they say you should not check. Are you the one that should check it? And you know, that's a long route to take, and certainly not the best route to take. All right. So if you concede ground, you know, so I consider ground, and then I explain to him how I am an upright person, you know, how I'm just trying, how I want to do what is right. Now, there are many ways to apply this, but I can tell you categorically that 98 times out of 100, well, I can't count 100 and count out. So let me just say, of course, you understand that I'm just talking about fraction. I can tell you that 9.8 times out of 10 times, this works. Why? Because there's no reason for the policeman to hassle you anymore. You are not disrespecting him, you are respecting him, you have considered that you are wrong. You just need to find out if you have the money or not, and then you don't have, and then you are willing to even face the wrath of the law based on the fact that he is right. So you say, if you arrest me, I have to even follow you. But the matter is that we'll just be there because I don't have anything. This car like just back like this. The challenging thing about it is that once you remove this car from my butt like this, once you remove this car from under my bottom like this, it means that I can't pursue my daily life. Empathy and sympathy. It means I cannot pursue my daily life, which means things are going to be very bad, and I really don't want to be a criminal. I'm just really trying. He's even already had the way. You see this car that I'm driving. Very soon now, you see the car that somebody that is younger than me will drive and pass this place now. Did you see what I've done? Did you see what I'm doing? I'm telling you, 9.8 times out of 10 times, I have connected the police officer and he became my acquaintance. Be somebody I can call. In fact, I will even tell you, sir, if your people stop me in front, I will call you. You say no problem. I'm telling you, you have to learn the art of turning situations around for yourself. I mean, you watch movies all the time. What do you learn in movies? Bulk of the movies will center around a terrible situation that the protagonist turns around for himself or herself. So you want to be able to do that, you know. Oh God, what a session. Okay, so so you want to do that, you know. So let me quickly talk about the things that you want to have, things that you should have. One of the things that you have is that you have legal expression and experience. You should know what's up. You should know, you have an on-ground information of what's happening in your environment, okay? Are there kidnappers on the go out there, you know? Is it a new commissioner? Because every time a new commissioner comes to your state, there will be pressure on the workforce, and then they must deliver. One of the ways they must deliver is that they must deliver certain type of results. The presence of the new commissioner must be felt across board. You don't want to be caught in that crossfire. So you must somehow you must know what's happening around you, basically. And there are several ways to do that, really. It could be that you have friends, it could be that you have a lounge, it could be that you have, you know, people that you call from time to time, it could be that you listen to the news, whatever. It could be that I don't really, you know how you want to do that, but you should do that. All right? Yes. And then, yes. So the second thing that you should have is a good sense of timing. You know, when I say time, I'm not talking about particular time of the day. Yes, time of the day. For example, sometimes I travel very early because at that time they're not on the road. Sometimes I travel when the sun is hottest because now they're tired. Probably not even on the road. So you have to understand. But I'm not even talking about the time of the day. But I remember that there's also a factor of the time of the day. What I'm even talking about by timing, having a good sense of timing, is what is happening. You know, that particular operation, whether it's stop and start, whether it's different things, so you must understand instead of timing. Is there a new governor, is there a new commissioner, and things like that. So the third thing that you should have is that you should have relationship that will help you. Okay, so in every area, everywhere, relationships are wonderful things. It does not even matter that it's with the police officer. Relationships are a wonderful thing. You should learn to have that. The reason you don't have a relationship is that you have not started succeeding as much as you feel you should succeed. All right? Good. Now, if you go through this channel, I hope you have subscribed, you know, and then you should comment and see, you know, and like, you know, and share, you know. But if you go through this channel, you realize that bulk of the things that I talk about is life and wisdom and money. The reason I think I talk about money is because you need it to do life. The reason I talk about wisdom is that you need to do life. The reason I mix all of them together is that what's the point of wisdom if it does not make you money? What's the point of money if you don't have wisdom to apply it? And then what is the point of wisdom and money if you don't lead a good life? So that's why you will find topic like this, for example, where I'm talking about how to handle the Nigerian police, and you know, and then how to apply it in other areas, you know, similar places where police harassment can happen or are a thing. Okay, so you should visit my website. You know, I'm sure I have several things for you now to help you start to make money legitimately. Of course, you can tell that I'm a stickler for legitimate things. Okay, yes. All right. The Bible says that righteous is bold as a lion. I need certain type of confidence. That is why I do not engage in shady things. Okay. So and you will find out that some of them will not cost you money. In fact, none of them will cost you money. Really, they are free. There are things that you can apply if you're a young person that you can change your status immediately. And one of the things that happens when you join, when you do this, is also what it exposes you to. Is leverage to get into a community where people are young and they are doing stuff and they understand the workings of life. That's where you want to be. So you want to check oluwayola7d.com, you know, and it's right there on the screen over the oluwayola7d.com. And then you'll see what I can do for you. I already prepared several things that I can do for you. So it's just for you to get there. All right. So thank you so much. I've had an amazing time with you on this session. I hope that this viewpoint of mine I'm able to convince and not confuse you that there are ways to these things. Okay. So this is the part where I say kudos to the good people of the police force. Yeah, I believe that I have met good people there, you know, and I've also met bad people who are not police, so it's not, you know, say it's where we find ourselves in this evolving country. So kudos to you, amazing time, and if any of my friends are watching this, good one. Thank you so much. We will see where we see. So have an amazing day. So do not forget to watch other videos and learn other things and do well for yourself. Bye.